Kelly Krauskopf, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. If you were perfectly fine when Fever fans were bending over, kissing your ass, applauding your decisions, you better stand here and take it when Fever fans are pissed off, upset, and are voicing their displeasures. If our voice mattered that much then, you best believe it matters that much now.
The president of the Indiana Fever recently made comments about Caitlin Clark that have the entire basketball world buzzing. And honestly, when you try to downplay the significance of your top player, it changes everything for a franchise. The backlash was immediate and intense. In a way, karma has a funny way of reminding everyone who the true leader really is. The consequences of this misstep are downright unbelievable. But seriously, what usually happens when organizations try to sideline their biggest stars?
Your brand is going to get as big and go as far as Caitlin Clark takes it. And I don't think Kelly Krauskopf understands that. And the latest video that is surfacing, floating around, being consumed by Fever fans across the globe, because this is an international superstar they have on their hands. This may have been the straw that broke the camel.
The reactions from players and staff made it pretty clear that someone at the Indiana Fever thought this was the plan all along. Recording a meeting about their brand strategy was bold, to say the least. Especially when that strategy involved publicly undermining Caitlin Clark, the very player who independently rescued the franchise from irrelevance. Genius move, right? In their official statements, yes, I'm calling it leadership out of politeness. The Fever outlined their vision of building a lasting brand, think Apple-level ambition, and in their scheme, Caitlin Clark's role is, well, to serve as a reminder that the team doesn't want to lean too heavily on their star players, because apparently everyone is watching. In corporate speak, they call top players fundamental, but in reality, that's just a fancy way of saying they're trying to downplay the one person who actually keeps the team relevant.
That we want to sustain the growth and the interest level in the franchise. I mean, this is about the Indiana Fever. Yes, we have a foundational player in Caitlin Clark and Leah Boston, and we're going to continue to add to that. But I want this team to be the leader in the country, and a brand, an enduring brand, like Apple or something. We have a real.
Let me break down just how out of touch these comments were. This executive basically told fans, who were already erupting online, that the franchise wants to grow and excite its audience, while simultaneously suggesting that Caitlin Clark, the very player driving that growth and attention, shouldn't be the focus. It's like a fast food chain claiming it wants to be known for more than burgers while purposely hiding the Big Mac. Unsurprisingly, fans weren't having it. Social media exploded, calling out the organization for being completely disconnected from reality. And honestly, they got every bit of criticism coming to them. The backlash was swift and completely deserved.
This isn't the NFL. This is the Wnba. A star is going to take the Fever where the Fever want to go. And that star is Caitlin Clark. Kelly, you're talking about being a leading brand. You're talking about sustaining growth, sustaining the interest level in the franchise. You know how that happens? Is if Caitlin Clark stays in Indiana, is if Caitlin Clark is participating in an entertaining and exciting brand of basketball that doesn't take away and diminish her skill sets, that doesn't turn off fans that have been following her for the last 3 to 5 years.
Some of these so-called smart executives seem to have completely forgotten one thing. Before Caitlin Clark arrived, maybe 4,000 people showed up to watch a Fever game on a good night. TV ratings were abysmal, and hardly anyone cared. In the world of sports, the team was essentially invisible. Then Clark arrives, and suddenly arenas are selling out, attendance records are being shattered, and the Fever are finally part of the national conversation. But in their infinite wisdom, the organization seems to think this surge happened because of their brilliant internal structure, when in reality, it's because they have a generational talent. Fans are tuning in to watch Clark play, not to admire a management plan. The Apple comparison they made is almost laughable. Apple became a global icon by building their brand around innovation, celebrating the iPhone and iPad instead of downplaying them. The Fever should be doing the same with their star player. You don't limit your superstar, you center everything around maximizing their talent. Now forward. Michael Jordan wasn't minimized by the Bulls. The Lakers didn't stumble into Showtime by accident. Legendary teams built their entire identity around their extraordinary players. Instead, the Fever seem obsessed with spreading the spotlight evenly, worrying more about fairness and feelings than trophies and growth. And the timing of these comments couldn't be worse. Clark has been facing a system that clearly underutilizes her skills, struggling to get passes, navigating a playbook designed to dampen her impact, and just as fans are watching her fight through it, management releases statements that basically confirm everyone's worst fears about who really matters to the team. The backlash was instant and brutal. Fans started questioning the organization's competence. Conversations about Clark's future and the possibility of her thriving elsewhere began circulating. The absolute opposite of what you want when trying to build a lasting brand. And here's the kicker. Their concerns are valid. If the franchise doesn't show a genuine commitment to winning, Clark isn't going to stick around forever. Caitlin Clark is too talented and driven to waste her prime years waiting around for an organization that doesn't fully value what it has. The comparison to other markets makes this even clearer. Imagine if Clark were playing in Boston or New York under this same dysfunctional leadership. Sports radio would be relentless, fans would demand accountability, and pressure would be constant. But because this is Indianapolis, the Fever seem to think they can get away with backward thinking. The irony is brutal. In their effort to avoid relying too heavily on Clark, they're actually putting themselves at the greatest risk of losing her. When you fail to appreciate your most valuable assets, you make them available to organizations that know how to act, and make no mistake, there are plenty of teams that would gladly build their brand around Clark and fully leverage her star power. The karma here is instantaneous. Instead of emerging as a savvy, well-run franchise, their comments triggered the exact backlash they probably hoped to avoid. It makes them look like tone-deaf executives who don't understand the very strategy they claim to prioritize. Some people are given incredible opportunities but fail to recognize why, and this is exactly the lesson the Fever are about to learn the hard way. Success cannot be replicated without the talent that earned it, and undervaluing your star comes with a very steep price. It shouldn't be surprising that the basketball world is calling them out. Every executive decision, every statement, every action is under a microscope. The Fever are now learning a universal truth in professional sports. The relevance of your public-facing players matters, and fans notice when it's ignored. And that brings us to the bigger picture. This isn't just about one team, one executive, or one superstar. It's about the direction of a franchise, the expectations of millions of fans, and the responsibility that comes with leading an organization in the basketball spotlight. Every choice becomes a statement, every statement a turning point. Today's fans are more informed, more engaged, and more passionate than ever. They know the history, they follow the numbers, and they recognize the value of players who elevate the game. They celebrate excellence, defend what they believe in, and raise their voices when something feels off. And these voices aren't just noise. They come from loyalty, from investment, from a desire to see their team reach its full potential. Fans aren't just spectators anymore, they're stakeholders. They are the heartbeat of the franchise. This is why the moment is so defining. At the center stands a franchise under pressure, a fan base demanding accountability, and a superstar whose impact has transformed not just a team, but the entire basketball landscape. That kind of influence is rare, and it deserves recognition, respect, and the strategy to match. That kind of presence doesn't come around often, it's generational. And that kind of momentum, it's never accidental. It happens when elite talent, the right opportunities, and global attention collide in a way that changes everything. When you have a player like Caitlin Clark, someone who brings millions of new eyes to the game, boosts TV ratings, fills arenas, and inspires a wave of new fans, you're not just managing a team, you're guiding a movement. That's why the next chapter is so critical. The choices made now will set the tone for the franchise's future. They will decide whether this organization rises to the moment or lets it slip away. Every championship level team in history has understood one basic truth. You don't fight momentum, you build on it. You don't dim your stars, you lift them higher. You don't shy away from pressure, you grow stronger under it. That's the line between strong leadership and confused leadership. That's the line between long-term success and wasted opportunity. Beyond the headlines, beyond the statements and debates, the bigger question remains, where does this team go from here? The world isn't just watching what was said, they're watching what happens next. Will the Fever seize this opportunity? Will they strengthen their bond with fans? Will they anchor their identity around the talent that has already changed everything? Or will indecision and mixed messaging leave cracks facts the basketball world won't stop pointing out. What happens next won't just shape the news, it will shape trust, culture, and perception. It will affect how players see the franchise, how fans show their support, and how the team positions itself for the future. Will this become a story of growth or a story of missed potential? That's why every decision from here carries weight. One thing is undeniable: the fans are awake, the world is engaged, and the conversation is louder than ever. This moment has sparked a fire that won't fade quietly. Whether it becomes a turning point toward unity or a warning sign of deeper issues depends entirely on the choices the organization makes next. Momentum is powerful. It can lift you higher than you ever imagined or vanish before you even realize it. So stay tuned, stay alert, and stay connected, because this story is just beginning. Every statement, every decision, every season ahead will reveal exactly where this franchise stands and what kind of identity they're ready to build. And believe this, the basketball world will remember how this moment was handled. They will remember who listened, who adapted, and who rose to the challenge. This isn't just a headline, a quote, or a controversy. It's a crossroads, a defining moment that will shape the legacy of this franchise for years to come. The next chapter is going to be powerful. Make sure you're here for it. Don't miss what happens next. If you thought the tension was high before, just wait. The real story is only beginning. And the next move, that move will change everything. Thanks for watching.